In today's video, I travel across treacherous roads, go to a communist rave, visit the worst restaurant in Vietnam, acquire lung cancer, and reverse down a highway. So where do I begin? After an unsuccessful attempt to acquire a Chinese visa in Tokyo, I flew to Hanoi, Vietnam to try again. It's my first time back since the end of the COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot has changed as I see countless new lights spread over an increasingly busy skyline. However, I'm reminded by my taxi driver's FaceTime call at full volume that some things haven't changed a bit. I spent 2 weeks in the city. After submitting my visa paperwork, I spent most of my time eating, enjoying the cuisine, and dining. I even got to have Boon Chan, the restaurant famous for hosting former US President Barack Obama and the late Anthony Bourdain. I haven't minded my 2 weeks here, as Hanoi is famous for its nightlife eateries, bad karaoke, a cheap beer called Beer Hoi, clocking in at less than 50 cents a glass, and an increasingly busy late-night scene with some more questionable establishments. But we can stop there for now. It's time to carry on to my mission towards China. I picked up my visa, grabbed my motorbike, and set out to find the best way to the northern land border, one of which that hasn't seen any foreigner traffic in over 4 years.
Off to the main train station to see if I can get the tickets to China. I tried to book them online, but it was not happening. None of the sites showed it available. People online said maybe it wasn't possible. So when in doubt, the best thing you can do is to just show up. So I'm gonna show up with a bunch of cash and see. I barely know my way. I've taken like 3 wrong turns already because it's just one way after one way. No good direction, pure chaos. I got cut off by a truck. So because of the type of tracks on the train heading to China, you can't take the normal station. It's something to do with the links. So instead, the station you have to take is way outside of the city, because when the trains convert at the border, there's well, I really don't know any of the real meaning. Oh my god. I have to dodge like 20 people every minute or more. But I missed my turn again. There's no way to hold my phone. My phone just dangles off of this thing. It's so fucking loose. If I put my phone on it, it's literally doomed. So I have to try to half memorize the routes or use my phone while driving, which is not safe. Okay, I parked the bike, made it to the train station. I don't know how much the lot costs, but I think it's probably fine. Okay, let's see if we can somehow get a ticket. I'm not that confident, but it might be possible. It looks kind of dead. I don't even know where to begin. Xin chào. Ticket to Nanning, China. Let's see if we can get it. Sorry? Here. I'll see if I can show on a map. Yeah. I asked if I could get a ticket for Wednesday. Okay. Maybe it's possible this will work.
And it did not work.
I've been passed down. I don't think they know what to do with me.
So there I was, sent away, back to the Vietnamese streets to continue dodging motorbikes and cars to find another railway station. This one seemingly missing from my maps, but apparently they might be able to help me.
Made it to the railway station. Toilet. Waiting room for international trains. Let's see. Ticket office for international trains. Let's see. Well, that was a waste of time. There's no train. They said the train's canceled. No more train to China. Oh, fuck me. Well, I don't really know what the solution is now. I might have to take a bus. The only bus that's currently going to China has a 1-star review because no one shows up at the other side once you cross the border. People have reported that they have to take a $200, maybe $300 taxi to get through the rest of their trip. And that the bus just drops you off at the Vietnamese border and you're fucked. You're just alone there. But they're supposed to coordinate someone. You're supposed to have someone waiting for you on the other side. But apparently, they never show up. No matter what, I'm not gonna fly. I fucking hate airplanes. We'll find a way across the border by land, even if it's on the back of a shitty motorbike. Alright, back to the motorbike. To try again. And this one? Okay. Come in.
I went ahead and grabbed the bus the next morning, not realizing yet that I was inevitably doomed to be taking the motorbike after all. I should have known from the start, as my bus fixer took a nap while arranging my tickets, and within 20 minutes of leaving Hanoi, the supposedly VIP bus broke down for the first of many times.
It's just emptying like 10 water bottles into the van. Round 2. That's our water bottle. As part of the reserve water bottles, he took ours off the floor.
As I grew impatient, I was happy to get back on the road, and for about 5 minutes it was, until we broke down yet again. After a few more water bottles, including now my own, we had another catastrophe, and our driver, who given was very talented at this, drove backwards on the highway for miles. Like, actually f***ing miles. It was brilliant.
We should be reversing the whole way, all the way to the Chinese border. It is round 3. So we're broke down again for the 3rd time in just a few, just like maybe 20 minutes. The world is really trying to make sure that I don't get to go to China. I don't even know if the border that we're going to be crossing is open. I also don't know if foreigners are allowed to take it. There's no information online. No one's been crossing the land border in years. And we're broken down. It's probably a bad omen. I spotted snacks across the street. So, while we're stuck here, I might as well go find something to eat. For the time being. Let's see. I don't see anyone in here.
At this point, I realized it was my fate to take matters into my own hands and drive myself instead. I caught an even more VIP van to return to Hanoi, a Ferrari one at that. It was time to go back to where I started. However, for this round, at a blistering pace, reversing all the way back to the Vietnamese capital. So after hiring yet another motorbike, I depart again to drive hours into the Vietnamese evening, forgetting to get a helmet with a face shield to protect myself from the millions of bugs that were soon splattered across my very existence driving through the night. Pulling up to a small city called Yen Bai, I was surprised to see a party of sorts happening, and of course, I have no choice but to check it out. So it turns out that the party I walked in on was a communist festival celebrating the elevation of city status. In communist Vietnam, the city ranking levels determine the proportion of government aid from the central government using a type of tier system, much like district rankings in a Western country. It appears that I stumbled upon an unlikely event, catching the stares of thousands as I enjoyed the showcase of industries broadcasted respectively to the newly promoted city. But after a military send-off, I thought the party was mostly over, but I would have never expected the festival to continue to unravel as it did.
Hey, hello. Alright, reporting from Vietnam at a communist event that we were personally invited to. I'm the only white man in 500 miles.
And after about 30 more minutes of rambling, the show quieted down, presumably to hint to festival goers that it was time to return home, or rather, a lullaby for a collective crowd nap. But instead, the last thing I could have possibly predicted happened, and amidst some of the displays of Vietnam War and French occupation era film, a very special guest had arrived. That's right, Ho Chi Minh himself, the revolutionary father of communist Vietnam, risen from the dead, appearing outside of a projection of his own Hanoi mausoleum. Ho Chi Minh, sometimes referred to fondly as Uncle Ho in Vietnamese, led the country into a socialist age and was one of the most influential leaders in modern history, somehow avoiding many of the mistakes of other communist leaders during his era, such as Stalin and Mao. And I had never met a resurrected communist leader before, so I had to take this special opportunity. But jokes aside, I was surprised to see that his caricature seemed unholy, as in that there's no issue to use his likeness and congratulate the town, giving well wishes and to remind the village children to brush their teeth and be nice to their mothers. Ho Chi Minh's departure, though, was met with a musical number that I think would turn anyone into a good communist.
Chiều thu năm ấy rực rỡ cờ hoa một vùng Tây Bắc, hân hoan bát ngang sao rực niềm vui chờ mong đón người, trán thanh khao nụ cười ấm áp. Hồ Chí Minh đời người còn vang vọng mãi như ánh sương sớm màn đêm tối. Xanh thẳm tự do, Hồ Chí Minh, lời dạy của người trong tim con nhớ mãi, như ánh sao soi đường chỉ lối, người mở ra chân lý sáng ngời, như ánh sao soi đường chỉ lối, người mở ra.
After such a performance, I immediately signed up online for my local socialist chapter and refollowed Hassan Piker's Twitter account. It was time to turn a new leaf, and to my surprise, the night continued to degrade into a truly ridiculous fashion as the festival devolved into a Ho Chi Minh approved rave. With the hammer and sickle adorned above the stage, strobe lights, and outdated EM, this small city had truly earned its dear elevation, as it displayed how a real communist should party. This is actually one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit.
Why was it kind of hard?
I don't think there's much more I can say about that, other than it was truly magnificent. And unfortunately, I don't have much film of me at the event since I didn't bring my camera equipment, but I had acquired some attention at the after party by some ethnic women that insisted I learn to do some tribal dance. Embarrassingly, I was not particularly good at the ethnic stick dance and failed to take the hints of my very kind and patient teacher, again and again. The crowd was quite amused by my failures, and after some more specific instructions, I was ready to make my second debut, before failing once more. Clearly impressed by my performance though, a local TV crew wanted to interview me, asking questions such as, "What do you think of the sticks? Where is your rhythm? Was it stolen? Did you file a police report? Do I like ethnic people?" And other pressing questions to Yen Bai's only available white man, who has valuable white man opinions. But that's enough for the night. It's time to turn in my hotel and get ready for an early drive on the motorbike tomorrow morning, as I still need to get to China within just a few days before my Vietnamese visa ends and I'm forced to work in the mines. On my way out, I noticed the most lit up building in all of Asia, so I had to make a brief little appearance before I check in fully for the night.
Yeah, weirdest coffee. Oh, it's still dirt on my nose. From being on the motorbike. I just did a TV interview like that. Oh, good place. Koi fish. And these big booths going all around. A perfect end to the very communist day. A Ho Chi Minh approved koi fish coffee shop. Now off to our 5-star hotel. Goodbye, weird coffee shop. And good night, weird city. This really is 5-star accommodation, though. I have a black light. It looks like
I forgot his name, but James Turrell. It looks like a James Turrell piece.
it's the same hue, and it's original. It's about everything that you would need. AC, neon, a variety of mosquitoes, and a flat screen. Not bad. Also, it was $8. I had a drastic miscalculation on the timing to get to the next spot up in the ethnic areas and the villages. Routed took maybe like 4 hours, 45 minutes, but it's toll road and car only, so our shitty little scooter is not even allowed on the road, so it takes double the amount of time. So we're stuck in a nice, good old communist village that's recently been upgraded. Not to mention I had the opportunity to be on Vietnamese television, looking like an absolute idiot, unable to step over the sticks, the ethnic stick dance or something.
So after an acceptable rest, it was time to leave my hotel/garden. For now, and likely forever, as I depart from Yanbai. It's been a good stay, but sadly, not all good communist times last forever. So with my motorbike, I set out again. And unfortunately for me, the highway remains closed for motorbikes for the entire leg of the journey. But I can't complain, since Vietnam's countryside is some of the most beautiful on the planet, with idyllic rolling hills, jungle, karst limestone mountains, and roadways with traffic that keeps you entertained. What more can I really ask for? After a while of driving, I stopped for a quick mental support beer to appreciate the landscape and one of the many burning garbage piles that litter the Vietnamese countryside.
Get the burning garbage pile.
Once I set off again, the roads began to deteriorate more and more. And as I started to wonder if I should have continued on by that horrible bus after all, I realized that what started as a brilliant idea and a shortcut has turned into many more hours of my life donated to dirt roads that I never needed to be on. And after a good amount of time dodging hazards, breathing in dust from the coal trucks, and using my handlebars as a grip strength tool, it was time to grab lunch at what might possibly be the worst restaurant in all of Vietnam.
I know this one is.
And this is mystery leaf.
I don't know what this is.
And then this. Oh my god. What is it? Reporting back from the worst meal of Vietnam. The road has been terrible. We weren't allowed on the highways for our motorbike. So should have known it in advance. The chicken here was rock solid. I had to eat like a caveman. And then every guide in Vietnam tells you a couple things. It says, don't drink the ice, which this glass is full of ice. Don't eat the fresh vegetables. And then if the meat seems weird, skip it. Oh, and lukewarm soups, things that have been sitting at room temperature for days, maybe weeks. Avoid like the plague. And we broke every one of those rules. So, beer can update. I would stay until it goes all the way off the edge, but
We have places.
We have things to do, places to be.
After leaving the sludge soup and dehydrated chicken restaurant behind, I set off further north with the countryside slowly enveloped in a black soot haze from the factories and coal plants that sit ahead. As the coal haze gets stuck in between the valleys and mountains, it settles to blacken the sky, the nature, and least importantly, our lungs. But who really needs nature and lungs when you have sugarcane juice and beautiful views? Our drive is almost over, though. The scooter begins to suffer tragically, as it is forced to drive uphill into the mountains, clearly encumbered by the weight of its occupants and their luggage. And so my last few miles of the day are spent trudging along at 10 miles an hour, as the motorbike struggles its way through the steep terrain, now passing hill tribe villages, rice paddies, and large-scale industrial projects. I'll be stopping at Sapa, where I'll spend 2 days before I finish the drive into China, right before my Vietnamese visa ends. But tonight, I'm staying in a tribal village just 30 minutes away.
Oh my god. The sunburn that I got from my glasses is terrible. We made it to a village called I don't actually know.
I never did remember the name of the village, but my host treated me to a very nice dinner before a good rest to start again tomorrow. But I'm ending the video here, and I have a lot of things planned, so please stay tuned in and subscribe as I continue my bizarre adventure. I'll be trying to get something out every week, and I've been on the road for a few years now, but only now just started to film it, so I guess let me know if this is something that's interesting. I have a lot of ideas for the future, and there are some truly bizarre places that I'll be visiting this year, but for now, I'll be continuing my drive to China.